Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Marjorie, and in today's video I'm participating in this Hello Winter challenge hosted by Tammy from the Rusted Willow and Ellie from DIY from House to Home, and I'll have the link to the playlist listed in my description box below. For my first DIY, I've got this snowman wreath frame from the Dollar Tree, and I actually used 2 rolls of this, I think it's 5.5 inch deco mesh that I had got from Hobby Lobby when it was 50% off. So it's not bad. It's I like using it better than using the Dollar Tree mesh. This is way more sturdier and seems to work better for me. It does fray, but it doesn't fray as much as the Dollar Tree. So anyways, I cut them in 6-inch strips, and then what I'll do is I will make some curls and make 3 curls and put them in a bundle. And I'll show you here in just a second what I mean by that. So I do take the 12-inch Chanel stems or pipe cleaners, and I cut them in thirds. So I cut them to 4-inch pieces, and this will just help me not waste as much. You don't have to cut them in thirds, but to me it's just more useful. So here I am just curling up, just rolling it up, making the little curls. Now on where the seam is at the end of each curl, I make sure I kind of put those in towards each other in the middle of the bundle so it doesn't seem to unravel as much that way. Then I just take a piece of the Chanel stem and I put it in the middle. I find the middle and I fold the deco mesh over just to make sure it's in the middle, and then I tie the Chanel stem on there really tight. So then I just take the Chanel stem and I place it over the 2 rungs of the wreath frame, and then I tuck the little end in. So here it is. I've got all the deco mesh on there, and so what I did is I needed a little bit more white, but then I thought I knew I had some black, and it's the same one from the not the Dollar Tree, excuse me, from Hobby Lobby, and so I added it on there to help fill it in just as the brim of the hat. And then here, since you know the deco mesh covered up a good portion of the top of the hat, I'm going to use the ends of these painter sticks, and I'm just kind of gluing them together a little bit to help keep them in place. And then I'm going to actually do 2 sets of this, excuse me, I'm all tongue-tied. And so my purpose of doing that is just extending the hat. So I take my staple gun and I staple the wood to the wreath, and I just make sure I put several in there just to make sure that it stays pretty good. Now then you'll see me here in just a second, and I'll take 3 more of the handles of the paint stir sticks and I'll hot glue them right on top of the metal, what you see there. So I do a lot of projects with paint stir sticks, and when I do, and I tend to cut the handles off, I definitely always save those because they come in very handy, especially when you're if you're a crafter like me who puts a couple of Dollar Tree signs together to make one big sign. Then I use those on the back to make things more sturdy. I just glue them on there and it works really good. So I like to keep all of those. It keeps me from having to buy the crafter sticks or popsicle sticks and use those instead to make the bags of signs sturdy. This is already free and I don't have to waste my craft sticks for that. So I'm just gluing on my last piece, and I'm just holding it in place a little bit just to make sure that it's on tightly. Now I know that, you know, hot glue doesn't really work too well with metal, but don't worry, because here I have this felt from the Dollar Tree, and this is what I'm going to use to cover up the hat. So everything's going to be tightly packed in there, so I'm not really worried. Nothing's going to fall off. The paint stir stick handles are not going to fall off. I just put them there for extra support. So I take what I have and I just double it over because I want to make it pretty nice and thick, and the Dollar Tree felt can be a little bit thin. So I'm doing that, and here I'm just gluing on the sides. I didn't put the glue in the back. I'm putting it on the sides, and again, as I said, I'm just pulling everything very tight to make sure everything sticks. Now, I should have made the slits before I had glued anything on, but here I'm trying to make the slits where I've got to fold over the felt, but you'll see. So here I am just making sure it all fits on there well, and I just put a good layer of hot glue on, and then I fold in all that felt up under the deco mesh and I tuck it in there. Don't have to cut anything off. It looks really nice, and as you can tell in the back, everything's covered up. So here I'm going to hot glue the felt over, and again pulling very tightly to make sure everything is on there pretty nice and tight. So you will see here in a second when I turn it over, and this is why I said I should have cut the felt before I started folding it over, because when I had already folded it over the first time, I didn't get a good cut in there. So here you'll see in a second, I've got these little peaks on the ends at the top of my look like little Batman ears. So I had to go and cut those off, but I mean, since I put that's basically double layer, when I had cut that off on the end, you couldn't even tell. So here I wanted to give him little hands, so I'm taking these wood pieces from the Dollar Tree that comes in a bag, and I'm kind of just gluing them on to the little wire portions just to give him little hands. Now I really do kind of wish it was that his arm stuck out a little further, but I guess if I used a different method on the wreath, maybe it would have looked a little bit better or a little bit different. But I still think it's cute. It gives him that little stick figure look to it. How we make his hands and arms with sticks. So I really liked how it turned out in the end. So So my sister last year, she had bought this buffalo check fleece material, and she gave it to me. So I I cut off a piece to make it his scarf, and then I just cut off a little piece on the end of what's to be his scarf, just so I can put as a little piece of embellishment on his hat. And I just hot glue it all down there and everything, and make sure I pull it really tight so nothing is loose. So then I just take this scarf and I wrap it around the back, and I may have put the scarf on a little too tight, but I mean, to me it looks fine. I don't mind how it looks. If it's yours and you want to leave more of it out around the neck to make it look a little where you could see the scarf a little more around his neck, then that's absolutely fine for you to do with your wreath. And here all I'm doing is I'm just gonna give it these little fringes to give it more of a scarf look. And again, this is what I chose to do. If you didn't want to, then you don't have to. So I found a bunch of these little picks at Ross and thought it would be super cute to put onto his hat. And so I just hot glued it right above the brim of his hat, and I think it looks adorable. So this is how my snowman turned out. For my second DIY, I used that sign from the Dollar Tree, and I just used in the back of it. I gave it one coat of white chalk paint, and then I'm going over the top with my folk art sage green color. And here I'm just gonna make a little winter sign. I love these little wood rounds. I love making them. Oh, and one thing that I didn't do on here that I tried to remember, I told myself I had to peel the sticker off the back, and I told myself to go ahead and sand it down, and I forgot. But after I got all the paint and stuff off, you can't really tell too much, but had I had the chance to do it again, then yeah, I would have gone back and sanded it down before I painted it. So then I just hand lettered the word winter. I don't have a Cricut, and I didn't really have any stickers that would fit on here that would have looked nice, and so I just hand lettered this. Now you'll see that on my down strokes I make them thicker, and I just do my upstrokes as normal. So I know it looks a little bit different here because of the way my camera is, but it'll all look okay when you see it at the end. So here I've got this beautiful white ribbon from Hobby Lobby, and I'm just going to make a real cute simple bow, and I'm going to add it to the top. And I don't remember if I don't think I showed you, but I went ahead and on the green part of the paint where it meets the white, I just wrote the word hello, so my sign reads hello winter. So here I'm just going to dovetail my ends of my ribbon, and I end up going back and cutting them down even shorter because I think it would have been too long once I started adding more stuff on the round. And here I'm just gonna glue it to the top, and I don't bother when I made my bow, I didn't bother to put like a little piece. I know some crafters in the middle of their bow where the chenille stem goes or the floral wire goes, they like to put a piece of their ribbon there, but I didn't do that here because One, I used a white chenille stem, so even though I hadn't put anything in the middle of it, I still would not have done it. But here I do end up putting a little pine cone in the middle of it. And there you can actually see where I did write the word hello. So I got this pick from the Dollar Tree, I want to say last year or something. And so I'm just going to add some little greenery, pine cones and berries to this. I did put the door hanger back onto this piece as well, and that way I could actually hang it up if I choose to do so, and if not, it's nice to display without it as well. So here I thought about putting in a few pieces of greenery in addition to what was already on there, and decided that I liked it just the way it was, so I didn't add any more greenery. And here's the finished product. I think it's so cute, so pretty. It's the colors I'm using this year. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good day.